afternoon, MSS Metals. What we're going to go over today is how to do all of the steps that you need to do for your AutoCAD cut CNC Crest. That's the grade 9 project. So where you're going to start is at mssmetals.weebly.com. Okay, and you're going to go into the Metals 9, hit course info, and that'll bring you to the grade 9 Metals web page. Okay, if you scroll down at the bottom, you will see the link under projects that has the CNC Crest assignment. You're going to click on that and it's going to bring you to a new page. Okay, make sure that you're reading through to the design brief, that you've got your hand draft done, and if you've got that done and it's been approved by me, then what you're going to do is you're going to work on the steps that I'm going to show you. Okay, very first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to look at the Crest Symbols website and pick a heraldry symbol that represents you. I've already gone through and I've taken a look at this, and I've decided that a salmon, which is an image or an object that represents knowledge and wisdom, is the one that I want to use. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at google.com. You're going to go salmon, and you're going to use the word like outline, or the one that I like to use is a word like silhouette, in order to search up your image. Okay, what you should be finding, we'll go to images under Google, is black and white images very much like this. If you're getting color images or if you're getting photographs coming up, there's some tools that we can use. If we go to tools and we go to color and we pick black under the color bar, then it'll make sure that you only get black and white images, and that should get you just these simple black and white silhouettes that we want. Okay, photographs don't work, and color images don't work. So I can look through here and I have a pretty nice looking salmon here, and this is the one that I'm going to want to be saving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and that's going to bring down a bunch of menus here, and I'm going to save image as. Okay, give it a simple name. I'm going to call it exactly what it is. It's a salmon, and I'm going to make sure that I save this to my desktop so that it's nice and easy to find. Okay, click save. It should drop down into your downloads bar down in the bottom left hand side, and you should be able to make sure that it's there by checking your desktop. There's my salmon image right there. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to www.vectorization.org, vectorization.org. Okay, there's the website right there, and what this is going to do is it's going to take the file format, which if we look back is a PNG file format, and it's going to change it into a DXF file format, which is what we use in AutoCAD. So you're going to get to the website and you're going to click the choose file button. Okay, we're going to go back to our desktop because that is where our image is located, and we're going to find that salmon image or whatever black and white silhouette you've selected. Double click and you can see that it's now loaded up into vectorization.org. Okay, you're going to put the output format to DXF because that's the file format that works with AutoCAD, and you're going to hit start. Should just take a moment. Okay, while you're waiting for that to load, what you can do is you can open up AutoCAD LT by going down into your search bar in the bottom left hand side of your Windows screen, and you're going to open up AutoCAD 2016. It might ask you to agree to the licensing agreement. Just hit I agree, and it's as simple as that. Okay, Now, we're going to go back to vectorization.org, and now we have our DXF file format right below results. Okay, we're going to right click, we're going to save link as, and again, we're just going to call it salmon, and we're going to make sure that it's saved to our desktop so it's nice and easy to find. Hit save. It should go down into your downloads bar. Make sure that you reduce your windows, and you should see it right there. There's my DXF salmon file right there. Now, if you go back to the website, our mss.metals.weebly.com, and we go to our CNC Crest assignment, you can see that there's a file that says Crest DXF file. Okay, what I've done is I've drawn the outline of a crest already for you, so that you guys don't have to do that, and it's sized to exactly the right size that I want it to be. It's just shy of 12 by 12 inches. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to click on that, and you'll notice in your download bar you'll have a Crest DXF file. I want you to right click on that. I want you to open it. Okay, and what will happen is it will upload that Crest file for you. Okay, so this is the crest that all of you guys are going to use. You have the basic shape with a single object inside here, and this isn't the object that you want. So in order to show you guys basic navigation tools, what I first want you to do is I want you to take this selection tool, which is our cross with the square in the center, and I want you to loop that image in the very center around in a blue circle, just like that. You'll see that it's got a whole bunch of blue squares in it, and that means that I've selected all of that image. Okay, if at any time I want to delete something, I can go up to the top right hand corner of my my keyboard, and all I have to do is hit the delete button to remove that image. So you're going to remove what I gave you in that image, and you're going to be bringing in your own image of your own. Okay. If at any time you get into another tool, like we might mess around with the line tool, and you need to get out of that tool, what you can do is you can just hit the ESC, which is escape button, and that allows you to get back to that selection tool. You can highlight, you can select, and delete. Okay. You've also probably noticed that I'm able to zoom in and zoom out of my image. This allows me to look at the detail in my image, or to move around it. Zooming in and zooming out is controlled by the scroll wheel on your mouse. If you hold down on that scroll wheel, you can move the image around on your screen. Okay, so if I wanted to look at that corner, I would use the move tool, and I would zoom into that corner, zoom out, and recenter my crest. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring in your image. Okay, so you're going to hit File, you're going to hit Open. Your file is that red triangle up in the top left hand side. You're going to hit Open, and you're going to look for that salmon, or whatever you've decided is the object that you're going to put inside of your crest, and you're going to select that. Okay, and hit Open. Okay, what that's going to do for you is it's going to open up a new tab. I now have a salmon tab and a crest tab. Okay, and what I need to do is I need to zoom out on that image. So what I want you to do is type into your bar, zoom, hit enter, and you're going to write in extent. It's E-X-T-E-N-T, and when you do that, it will zoom out your image to the outline of your salmon. Okay, so if we take our dimension tool, which is up in our top bar, and I dimension this salmon, I can see that it's nearly 900, nearly 1,000 inches in size. Okay, much too big for what we want for our project. Okay, so we're going to hit escape. And what we're going to do is we're going to scale this. The reason that it's so big is that all of the pixels in my original black and white image have been converted into inches. Okay, so that's why we need to rescale it. It's converted every pixel into inches. There's lots and lots and lots of pixels to a black and white image, so we need to rescale this to a size that's a little bit more usable. So we're going to select our whole entire salmon, and we're going to go to the scale tool. Okay, it's in our top menu bar, and it looks like a square inside a square. Okay, it's going to ask us to specify a base point. This is just where we're going to be stretching or reducing the size of our image. Okay, so if I click that, you can see that my salmon is getting larger because I'm moving my mouse up and down. In this case, 50 times larger. Now I don't want it to be larger, I want it to be smaller. So instead of 50 times, I'm going to put 0.01, and then I'm going to get an image that's 100 times smaller than the current image. So once I put in 0.01, I'm going to hit enter, and all of a sudden that tiny little dot there at the center of my screen, let's zoom in on it, is my much smaller salmon. Okay, so hit escape. We're going to put a dimension on this, and like I said, rather than being nearly 1,000 inches, now it's 9 inches, which is a much more reasonable size. This will fit on my 12-inch by 12-inch crest. Okay, so I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to select my whole image. Okay, and now I need to go into copy and paste. Alright, so the next thing that we need to be doing is we need to be copying this image for our heraldry crest and then pasting it into our other file that has our crest in it here. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your selection tool and you're going to lasso your image. Okay, next thing that you're going to do is you're going to hit Control, which is the button that says CTRL on it, Control, and you're going to hit Shift, and you're going to hit C. Okay, and it's going to ask you to specify a base point. You see how it's popped up with a little bar at the bottom here? What we're going to put in is 0, 0. Okay, so it shows up in a spot that we can find easily later, and then we're going to hit enter. Okay, so we've just copied that whole salmon, whatever your image is, and now we want to go over to our other drawing, our crest drawing. Okay, and what we need to do now is we need to hit Control and V. Okay, again, it's asking us to specify an insertion point, so where should this go in our drawing? We're going to hit 0, 0, and we're going to hit enter. And again, we're going to use that zoom, extent tool, and you can see we've got our two images. We can just barely see them. If I lasso both of them, you can see our two little blue dots here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to zoom in on my salmon. There it is right there. We've got them together. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to use the move tool. The move tool looks like 4 arrows going from a center point. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to slowly start moving that salmon, selecting it and moving it over to my crest. So I can select that salmon. I know that it's selected, teeny tiny little blue dot, and I want to move it over close to my crest. So now I'm going to keep on selecting and moving. Select, grab the select tool and move it in over top of my crest. And now when I zoom in, I can see that I am pretty darn close to getting where I want to be getting. Okay, so I'm going to try to select my whole salmon. Okay, I can just click on it just like that, and for just now I'm going to move it outside of my drawing because you can see it's just a little bit too big to fit in the crest. Okay, so what we're going to do to change that, we're going to select the whole image. We're going to use the scale tool. Okay, so I've selected the whole image. I've selected scale. I'm going to click, and we're going to make a salmon that we think is about the right size. So I was pretty close in size to what I needed. Sometimes the program doesn't work the way that you want to. So I'm going to go 0.75, okay? And that'll make it 75% of its original size. So that's a little bit better in size. I'm going to select the whole image. I'm going to use move, and I'm going to move it into the center of my crest. Now if I want that to be a little bit bigger, I can select the image again. Okay, I can use scale, specify a base point, and make it so that it is pretty much as big as I can make it for this image here. So now I've got my crest, I've got my image inside of the crest. What's going to happen is that everything that is the crest, which is surrounding this salmon image, is going to be metal. We're going to have a cut line that's going to create the outside of the crest, and then this salmon is going to be air, and it's going to be silhouetted by the metal of the crest. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to create kind of a 2D image when this is all cut out on CNC, and that's the basics of how to get your image into your crest. Okay, be very careful that you do not modify or change or scale your crest. Okay, it needs to stay the same size, so we don't do anything with the crest. It's all about modifying your image. Okay, once you're at this point, what you're going to want to do is you're going to go up to save, give it a simple name. I'm going to call mine my name, so Mr. M, and we're going to call it Crest. You would call it your first name and your last name, and Crest. And make sure in the drop down menu here, this is very important, that you select AutoCAD 2000 DXF, okay, second from the bottom. It needs to be saved in that file format for it to work with our CNC plasma. AutoCAD 2000 DXF. Hit save. Okay, and there you go. You got your crest done. Make sure that I take a look at it, make sure that it's going to work out, and you're ready for cutting on the plasma cutter.